Hey, what's up guys, it's Jack Kai, and I'm a 3-time world record holder in solving the Rubik's Cube blindfolded. And today, I'm going to teach you how to memorize numbers quickly, whether they be your mom's credit card number, your mom's phone number, I don't know why I keep saying mom, or just a bunch of random digits that you want to memorize for no reason whatsoever. Anyway, according to some elaborate research, it seems that the average person can recall about 7 or so digits of information. But if you just incorporate a bit of grouping and chunking, you can extend that already without any special memory techniques. So let's take the first 12 or so digits of pi. So 3.14 you probably know. 15 you just know that like 15 comes after 14. After that you have 9 and you flip it around to a 6. 535 is a palindrome. 8 leads up to 9, 7, 9, also another palindrome. So just grouping and finding patterns between different numbers, that's already one up from just memorizing each number as an individual unit. But having said that, there is a better, more efficient way that top memory athletes use that I'm kind of learning at the moment as well, and that is the major system. So essentially, you give each number a consonant sound or a few. So the number 1, for instance, could be a T or D. You could think of like 1 dot to encode that information. 2 would be an N, 3 is an M, those are pretty easy. The last letter of 4 is an R, so for 4 use an R. 5 is an L. I don't know why they didn't give L to 7, because that would have been more obvious. But just imagine if 5 just like ate too many hamburgers and its belly is bulging out. But if you just shove it in, flip it upside down so it's not a loser anymore, then 5 is an L. 6, if you spin it around once again, because it's hanging upside down like the 5, and you push its belly in, then it's basically a J, or a CH, or an SH sound. Those might seem irrelevant, but if you pronounce each of them, you would notice that your tongue's in the same position, but the exhalation is like different. And 7, which should have been the L, but it isn't for some reason, is a hard K sound or a G sound. And I just memorized that because like it sounds kind of sharp, and it's like this sharp pointy bit on the 7. For the number 8, if you chop off a bit of its head and a bit of its not head, then you basically got an F. V is in the same tongue position. And for the 9, that's a P or B. That one's kind of obvious. So yeah, that might take a bit of time to encode, so feel free to rewind the video and go through that all over again. So now that you've encoded that information, let's pretend we're trying to remember the number 57. So remember what the 5 is. It's pretty much an L. You squish its belly in and flip it over. So that's an L, and then 7, it's like a sharp sort of bit there, so K. And then you have, I mean, you could think of a lock, or you could think of smashing the like button right now if you're enjoying this video. Okay, cool. Let's go back to memorizing the first 12 or so digits of pi. So 3.14, I'm pretty sure you know. 15, so remember the 1, so think of a dot, so like a T or D sound. I'm going to use a D for this. And then 5 is the L we just used before. So I think of a doll, and I'd essentially chuck it in a certain location. I'd highly recommend checking my video out on memory palaces if you haven't already, link up there. But I'll use that TV in the background as my first location. So there is a doll barging out of the TV. So after that, we have 9, 2. So 9 is a P, 2 is an N, PN. I think of a pan. So a doll is barging out of the TV with a pan. Maybe she's threatening to stab me. I don't know how you stab someone with a pan. Anyway, you keep going on. So on the table perhaps over there, which I'll pick as my next location, we have 6, 5. So 6 is the Joel, you squish the belly and flip it upside down. And then 5 is L, so J and L, so Joel. So I know someone called Joel. I picture him on the table. And then 3, 5, I'll go through these quicker. So that's M and L. And then I think of a mole. But anyway, we have Joel, and he's like whacking a mole on my table. And then 8, 9. I mean, instinctively using the same method I mentioned before, we have like FP. Slap one vowel in the middle and you have something that's inappropriate and I don't want to get demonetized. So let's think of Flappy Bird on my sofa over there. He's just kind of just chilling. And next we have 7, 9. So K and P. So in this case, probably a C or P. I instantly just think of like a cape. So Flappy Bird is like has a cape, and he's puts on the cape and just flies over my sofa. And what you do is just review that information. So just remember what happens on my TV. We have the doll barging out with the pan, and then on the table over there we have Joel, and he's whacking a mole, and on the sofa over there we have Flappy Bird, chucks on a cape, and he's flying over. And you pretty much just use the same method and just create more locations, stats more images, review more times, and you can pretty much memorize as many digits as you want. like theoretically, which is pretty dope. And now I'm just gonna go to an actual real life example of me using the same method. So there's this thing called a tax file number. I think it's apparently sort of important, at least in Australia. What I did was I pictured a taxi outside of my local bank because, you know, tax file number, taxi. I also stored images regarding my bank info in my bank, so I thought might as well chuck it nearby. And then say you had like this 9-digit number as your tax file number. So 142. For that, I think of a train, and you might have noticed I use 3 digits here because I'm a try-hard and I use a 3-digit system. Anyway, we have a train that's ramming into the taxi, and then next up we have 377. So I think of a Big Mac for that, and the Mac flies over and hits the 324. So I instantly just think of a miner. So you could think of a coal miner, but because I played way too much Minecraft when I was a kid, I think of Steve with a diamond pickaxe because I'm a cultured human being. Yeah, so basically think of a train smashing a taxi, and then the Big Mac flies into the miner. And you can do something similar with your credit card number, some birthday you want to remember, and so forth. But anyway, that's how to memorize valuable number related information 101. For 101, I used Toast, by the way, until I watched Squid Game. But anyway, if you enjoyed, be sure to 57 the video and 09 to the channel, and otherwise, see you later.